Karita here. Last time I saw them last week, they worked very well together. So I'm excited to see them play again and see if maybe their team they're playing against can kind of work around it here. And maybe they can play around the mid lane as well. We'll get some 2v2 fights happening. I'd love to see that.
And for those who predicted, here is your bonus cash. Okay, gamers won that one, so complete that prediction. Boom, boom, or paching, whatever, man. You got some cash. There you go. Now for the next one, the predictions, I am going to start. If you are watching, you are more than welcome to vote on yourself. I mean, believe in yourself. Better believe it. Right, Al, as we are seeing FOD time and time again. Last week we got a pentakill almost on that Akali, so this is going into it. It's already an exciting match.
Yeah, I think we had multiple almost pentakills on the side of FOD last week, so let's see if they can actually make one of those convert this time. So that's what I'm looking for. It's a new standard around here. We don't just want them to win. We also need to see the pentakill as well.
Yeah, we do need to see the penta, as I'm going to hold off on the predictions a little bit as we get a word from them. Are they ready? All right, and here is the prediction now. You have 10 minutes, mind you, so that is enough for us to discuss the full duration.
I was going to say, Proof, I think you're slacking here. You can't be making predictions before you even see the draft. That's a disaster. You're guaranteed to lose those click points real quick if you do that.
Yeah, I mean, the payouts are already really crucial. And you guys, I'm going to add some more challenges to the click points. But for now, it is what it is. You have 10 minutes to predict. Disaster, Al says it will be, but ready? Is there a bug? Is it bugged?
That doesn't look like they're going yet. Nowhere. So the spectator link isn't working. It looks like.
I'm gonna use their link, man. God damn it.
Oh, there we go. Yeah. Okay.
There you go. I'll do it like this, bro.
I clicked the link again. It's up. There we go. We missed a little bit of the action.
It's okay. It's all good. So we got FOD already banning Echo and Galio. Hello, question mark Echo. Why you gotta target both of my favorite champions? Dude, for the entirety, I tried to climb with Galio. Didn't work out with the Predator build as well. The Runes Echo, I tried to climb, didn't work out. It's been 7-8 months I haven't played League of Legends competitively, but oh boy, seeing those banned, and now Tristana first pick on FOD. That's a flex champion we're talking about. It's great to have those on your arsenal. You could just flex at any moment.
Yeah. Great. It's a pretty solid first pick, as long as they maintain the flex appeal. So you want to keep that as an option to flex mid or bottom, potentially even top too, although that's pretty spicy. You got to have a pretty good top laner to pull that one off. Then we immediately see the set come in. Once again, another flex. So, and then Ezreal, that one's not flexing. Although there has been some rising grumbles of mid lane Ezreal. So that's not out of the question, although I highly doubt that. And we might be seeing the Gwen again. I hope we get to see that live. There it is. Gwen's so strong right now. I think we've obviously seen it a lot in pro play. It's pick ban a lot of the times. Ooh, and I really like this adaptation. They're picking the Lulu as well. So that's a flex laner still, and it really enables a lot of the Gwen if they want to. So you can play Lulu with a hyper. Tristana is considered a hyper carry late game. She can also be used really well with the Gwen, giving her that speed up and giving her even more of that tankiness. Gwen could be an absolute monster, and we see Horizon even selling into it with some more melee short-range champions. That is exactly what Gwen's looking for. You there, Proof?
Yeah, I'm there. I'm just saying GG's in the chat. Although if you guys are still watching, I don't want you guys to think like the teams are mismatched. Although I did have other teams lined up for both of you guys, for Bush Wookiees and OK Gamers. lined up. I mean, it just they had to abandon for some reason, so that's why we had that last game happen the way it happened. It wasn't my intention to have those teams play originally against each other, and also now that I think of it, it is good practice for Bushwookies for their semifinals. So nothing is in bad intention. I hope that you guys enjoyed it as much as it was, as much as you guys could, because there's a lot of takeaways from that game, I'm sure.
Yeah, and as we get back into the draft here with FOD and Horizon, we see the Akali ban come through. That's probably that's obviously targeted at Karita there. He had an absolute great performance last week on that. And then we also see Horizon follow up with the Karma pick. So we're seeing another Karma Ezreal lane. We're all meta slaves here because that's about as meta as you can get. And then we see it's Kog'Maw Lulu. You know I like this lane. You know I like this one. Kog'Maw, Hyperscaler, Lulu, best friend, and we get a Karthus. Okay, I really like FOD's comp here. I think it was very well put together, and I think it was drafted pretty well also. Horizons is not looking bad. They kind of need another melee champion to round it out with that Sejuani. Otherwise, it's going to be pretty hard for Sejuani to get her E stuns off. So I'm looking for a melee champion here. And this is technically going to go into Tristana or Gwen. They can kind of flex it around the Viego. Mm-hmm. Okay, so still flex potential. Viego could go top or mid. Same with the set. So I'm curious to see which one goes which. Both of those are not great matchups into Tristana.
Yeah.
She can kind of keep them at range for pretty much the entire time, and if they do get close, she can buffer her rocket jump and get away pretty easily. Anytime you play an AD carry mid lane, you're kind of looking to be a bully.
Yeah.
And especially into double melee, either Viego or Set, it's going to be pretty easy to bully them. And we all know that the Conquest loves playing around Karita. So I'm expecting a lot of attention for the Tristana as she pretty much pushes in wave after wave and gets a lot of tower plates there.
I think you just nailed that one. I think there's nothing more to add. I think also the Kog'Maw and Lulu comp is pretty much staple these days whenever you're watching tournaments, even MSI, whether it be LCS, amateur tournaments as well. You can't top that, right? Kog'Maw just has that hyper carry thing going for him, and Lulu, and a great addition with the wild growth, just making that even better for the team comp. FOD, they're looking pretty solid, although I have to say they're kind of falling short in terms of tankiness, right? They don't have that robustness they need compared to the Horizon team comp. They have Sejuani and Set to provide that peel and sustain, rather, for their team to just come in and do damage, because I think Ezreal is going to have a great time in this team comp on the side of Horizon. He's going to be able to just dash out damage from the back line, has that arcane shift to buffer away from any engages coming on the side of Gwen or Tristana. So I think Horizon, have that more well-balanced team fight, whereas FOD, they're just doubling down on their damage.
Yeah, FOD is damage on top of damage, and you don't need tankiness if you're just killing everyone.
Exactly.
And it looks like FOD is going to be doing a lot of killing because they have so much damage. It's a little disgusting. Karthus, hyperscaling champion, tons of damage. Kog'Maw, hyperscaling champion, tons of damage.
Yeah.
Gwen, amazing scaling, does true damage. Tristana, hyperscaling 80 carry. So you have a lot of scaling and a lot of damage coming out from FOD. To your point, there are no tanks, but I don't know with how much damage FOD is going to be pointing out that they even really need a tank. So they have the
that's another thing
to provide some of that pseudo tankiness.
And
they have the
but you're glass cannoning it at that point, right, Al? You have just like a glass cannon. Kind of like, reminds me, if anybody played CSGO, it's kind of like you don't have enough money to buy armor, so you just have enough money to buy an op. You go into the round, it's a gun round, you have an op, no armor, and that's basically, really, you're just banking on your skills at that point. Just you're killing the opponents before they kill you. I think that's the FOD's mindset. I'm not saying anything bad about it, but in terms of prediction, I think Horizon, is kind of that safe investment for you guys watching. The predictions are going to be over soon, and FOD is kind of that risky, risky bet you want to make on that team.
Yeah, I heavily have to give this over in terms of draft to FOD. It looks like the Viego is actually a Veigar pick as well, so it's not going to be that Viego. It's going to be Veigar, which is going to be mid lane.
Oof.
And
that's a good one. I mean,
It doesn't make a lot of sense to me though, because Sejuani, you want melee champions to enable the Sejuani so she can get off multiple stuns in a fight and make her job really easy. With Vigar, Ezreal, and Karma, you have one melee champion in set to really get those consistent procs off. And if you're not getting those consistent procs off with Sejuani, you're really only playing half of a champion, because then she's really only good for her ultimate.
yeah, that's so true. Now that you said it like that. So I guess predictions can change now, knowing that that's actually not Viego and that's Veigar in the mid lane. Do we got only other points? Nobody's really voting for what's their name? Nobody's voting for Horizon, bro. Everybody's on that hype train from FOD. Al, I think you're hyping him up too much here.
I'm just really impressed by the comp that the comp they put together. I like some of the picks that Orbital had here. They just didn't really look like they were trying to do anything too cohesive. Whereas a lot of what second here. A lot of what FOD is doing makes a lot of sense. They can play with a lot of range on their champions as well. Tristana and Kog'Maw having a lot of range. Karthus, even with his Qs, having quite a bit of range as well. I like what they're doing. I like the scaling that they have there too. So there's just a lot of really good things going over on the side of FOD. Not to say it's unwinnable. I mean, Sejuani can make a lot of plays early because she does have very good ganks with both her board charge, I can't remember the name of it, and her permafrost stun as well. It's just going to rely on her to make a lot of it happen because she doesn't have those other melee champions to give her those stuns unless they're looking to play through set in the top side. But I think Gwen is favored into set most of the time if they're both played at a pretty equal skill level. The one advantage I could see happening right now is in the bot lane. We saw in that last game that Ezreal Karma was able to get a lot of poke in early and really push their lane opponent out. So we'll see if they can do that here, although it's a little harder when it's a Kog'Maw Lulu as compared to a Jhin Alistar.
Yeah, the Jhin Alistar, time and time again. It's kind of like a boomerang that comes and goes back around. A lot of teams are heavily relying on that. With that said, though, we're going to take a short break, ladies and gentlemen, and let's not waste any more time. We'll be right back after 30 seconds with the game. And it's my pleasure, Proof here, joined by Al. And we got to make these games quick because at 10 CST, we have another match we have to cover. So hopefully we'll see the full extent of the series. With that said, we'll be right back. Don't go anywhere. All right, and we're back with the game. FOD versus Collective Horizon. Is
Yeah,
what's gonna happen here?
get getting out here on the Rift. We see Karthus for FOD a little behind on tempo here. Not looking like it's going to matter as it doesn't look like Horizon is going for an invade or anything. So not going to be punished or anything, but always try and get out on the map as quickly as possible because you never know if they're trying to bum rush you or anything like that. You want to make sure you're out there and available for your team. So as we take a quick peek around the horn, just want to go through some rune choices for everyone. See if there's anything weird, anything unusual. And right away, I noticed Doodle Bob with lethal tempo. So you don't really see that one a lot out of
On Israel.
Ezreal. Yeah, he. It's not that he doesn't benefit from the heavily increased attack speed. It's more so that he has ones that are just better for him because really you want to focus on increasing your Q damage, and lethal tempo doesn't really do that. He does have a really easy time proccing it though with his Qs from range. So that's a little bit of an interesting take here. And we also see Conquest with Dark Harvest. Very common for Karthus jungle, but it is, I'd say, one of the more confident or aggressive ones because you're trying to get as many procs as you can of those. Makes it a little easier with Karthus R.
Makes it a little easier and Justify. Gonna eat those explosive charges right up. You know, that's gonna be the name of the game in the mid lane, at least for Veigar. You know, has abilities that he could use, but very immobile champion nonetheless against that Tristana, who in contrast has a lot of leaps. I mean, has the rocket jump, that could technically reset twice, and in addition to that, you know, has her range that with the passive increases over time. So we're looking at maybe mid lane is going to be in a bit of a trouble for CH.
Yeah, as we see the early level 2 gotten by Horizon here, it makes a quick early trade. Really like that from Poro there. Very good positioning on that to try and punish that level 2 disadvantage. So I really like seeing that. I'm glad that they tried to abuse that. Oh, Gwen hits true damage there. Ooh. Good hit by the set right there also. Looks like Sejuani's coming up topside. This is good. She can get the East on here. No flash.
No flash. Ooh. She's running very dry. Summoner spells with the Ignite and the TP. That's the first blood. Ignite not doing what it's supposed to do, and Viking is just going to barely get away on, what was that, like 50? It's like 60, 50 HP now with the regeneration coming through. That's going to be the TP in the top lane. I think the Gwen not having flash is kind of a mistake. What do you think about that?
Yeah, wait, we see something going on. Oh! Doodle Bob! Absolutely smacking the Lulu.
Effortlessly done. I think Ezreal deserves commend after that one. I think he played that one perfectly, landing all the necessary skill shot to close that one on. And now here come Conquest. Outnumbered. Oh, he's just getting shredded very fast. Not enough time to do much damage. Now after he is down, of course, he can dash out some damage, but not going to be anywhere close to securing a kill. Now we're back 3-0 on the map, and it's heavily favoring CH. Those who voted for FOD are now probably thinking maybe a bad investment. Who knows, right? They're still very much in the game. And there you go, the rocket jump. That's a great cage as well, getting the trades. Veigar has both buffs. Doesn't need to be scared.
Yeah, overall, really good sequence there from Horizon. This Ezreal Karma is really making this Sejuani's life so much easier. It's once again a battle of that priority bot lane where Ezreal Karma was just much quicker to collapse on Conquest there. And we're seeing what happens when Conquest doesn't have the priority that he had last game, where he could play so easily around Karita, and his bot lane was not shoved in like this. So really impressed with the bot lane of Doodle Bob and Poro down here. I think they're playing exceptionally well and really punishing a lot of different things that FOD is doing. Really like that, and I like that Dr. Squish is taking advantage of it too. You saw as soon as he went out there, he immediately passed over in, and we see Karita jump in. Looks like he's going to be fine here. So it looks like we're going to be entering a little bit of a farm state for a while. Doesn't look
Farmville.
like it doesn't look like there's a lot of plays happening. Karthus really isn't. Oh wait, as soon as I say that, Portal jumped
Oh,
on Farron here.
yeah, Farron gets rooted in place. And oh, speaking of rooted in place, Justify on the Ignite getting tick lower. That's the solo kill. That's the Corrida we know. And both summoners down. Doesn't matter. Gets the kill and secures the first one for his team. FOD now finally on the board with the first kill.
Remembers guys, cool kids do not look at explosions, and that's exactly what happened there. Conquest trying to make I think the first time I've seen him bot lane.
First time I've seen him bot lane too, but Poro flash. Wait a minute, forces the flash out on Farron is actually in bad spot there. The cage as well coming through by Veigar, maybe targeting another one. The exhaust coming through the turnaround. Oh, the trade's instantaneous, as that is a 2-for-1 in the favor of FOD. Nonetheless.
Yeah, overall pretty good exchange there. I think Horizon ended up on top there. If I'm looking at this correctly, they got the Lulu and the Karthus just for the Sejuani because under the tower here. So overall, good trade there for Horizon. They're really they're playing around the bot side pretty well. And this Ezreal's definitely getting pretty far ahead from it too. I wonder what he probably has a lot of gold on this back. And then Veigar actually probably got a ton of gold from that one too. I believe he got both of those kills actually. But he kind of needs it because this Tristana is definitely bullying him.
Oh, showstopper in the top lane. Starduck getting low on HP on those abilities coming through with Zed. Heavy hitter with punches. Oh, but he turns it one on Starduck. What are you doing? He turns that one around, and oh boy, that was unanticipated. Turn of events as we see in the top lane. Gwen, exit frag, nonetheless, putting the team again on the map, on the board. Right now, it's less than 1k gold advantage for CH, but they're still in the lead. Granted, what we just saw happen in the top lane.
Yeah, that's when you type in all chat top diff. You know, anytime you can take a 2v1 and end up with a 1-for-1, you absolutely love to see that. So really well played by Starduck there. And then Viking, when he was really low and walked into that bush, he walked right into the true damage from the Gwen there, and it just took way too much damage from it and ended up killing him. I think he could have let Sejuani secure the kill, but he probably wanted it for himself and ends up biting him in the butt. You know, greed never pays kind of thing.
Greed never pays. When does greed ever pay? I mean, think about it that way. When have you been rewarded for being greedy in League of Legends?
Normally never, you know. And oftentimes
Yeah.
the payoff is very low for being greedy, you know. So your team would have gotten the kill if you would have just given it to Sejuani and then you wouldn't have died. But you know, in the end, it ends up being a 1-for-1. So kudos to Starduck on making that one happen here. Looks like the bot lane, Kog'Maw and Lulu are kind of getting their footing now. They're closing a lot of that CS lead, and they are playing more aggressive. I will say that once again, oh wait, got something happening for Corrida here.
That's a great Glacial Prison landed its target, but the rocket jump, too good. I mean, you know, they need to nerf this ability, or I don't know if it's just Tristana in the mid lane. Even with that ultimate, can just simply jump out of that one. I mean, unfortunate trades happening, but here comes the cage locking in Conquest on that front line as he's taking a lot of damage. Wild Growth is going to help him sustain and rocket jump into that fight. That's a great shutdown. You know, Karthus goes down, but still they pick up a kill, so that was a 1-for-2. My clan is bugging a little bit, but it's all good as we're seeing Corrida on the chase. Explosive charge is going to be enough. Ooh. Oh, that was barely enough. And now our original and the balling. Lulu has been having great moments in this game so far.
It's slowly gonna start to get a little bit out of control on the side of FOD here. So Horizon did get some early advantages, but it cost them a lot. So if you just would look at the CS numbers as all these plays were happening and Dr. Squish was making a lot of things happen around the map, this Karthus is up almost double his CS. He was just power farming, taking Sejuani's jungle, taking every single camp he possibly could, and he's up so much in CS right now that it's kind of almost made all those ganks that Sejuani did kind of pointless. And this is what people are talking about when they say that power clear meta. We also see Corrida, who didn't have to rotate down when Veigar TP'd for that bot lane play, He just got so much farm available to him in mid lane, and even got some plates.
Yeah,
And
in the mid lane.
it probably ended up being a gold positive, even though the kills went over in favor of Horizon there.
Yeah,
At
and
the
now, yeah, they did. I mean, Krita got crazy amount of farm there, and the plating was worth it for him. Just you know, a little greedy play too. I mean, not gonna lie, but not having to roam down there is still on 3 kills a streak for himself. Talking about that topside neutral objective was just got secured there by him and his little friend there. So they're doing a lot of work on the map. Here comes True Shot Barrage, Fahren, and another one bites dust. I mean, this is just deja vu for this guy at this point. 0-2. Feels bad, man, for the AD carry on the side of FOD.
Yeah, once again, very impressed with the bot lane here from Horizon. As soon as they saw Lulu leave, they said, "All right, we're gonna kill your Kog'Maw then," and that is what they did. Is Conquest. Nothing's gonna happen here.
They get the flash down. Set now has to play careful against this 1v2. You know, remember what happened last time? It was the other way around where Gwen was 1v2ing the jungle and the top lane, and she got on top. So now, with that said, has the reinforcements from Karthus, who also is carrying, oddly enough, the Herald, and didn't decide to put it there. I think they want to target that mid lane right now, given the fact it's already really low.
Yeah,
Herald,
come on, Proof. You know, if Conquest has a Herald, he's giving it to Corinne. He wants to get all that gold.
Yeah, he's kind of like loves going to mid lane. I think that's what he does. And also, hey Torito, how's it going? Welcome, welcome. How was your stream? I was lurking the other day. Been super busy though. Been loving the content for Overwatch. Keep it up. If I had great FPS or if I had great internet, I would love to play that game a lot too.
Gotta wait for the Overwatch 2 coming out, Proof.
Is it even coming out though, Al? Is it? I mean, I've heard rumors about him. Is it?
It's supposed to. I mean, Blizzard loves money, so I don't know why they wouldn't do it.
I heard it last year. I think I heard it in 2019 maybe or 2020. And it's been a year ever since. I'm sure COVID is not like affecting game releases that much because Cyberpunk got released pretty soon after everything hit the fan. But right now, Showstopper 2v1 forces the wild growth out of our original. Gonna walk back right onto that turret.
Little optimistic there from Vikings. No one from his team was really around to kind of capitalize on that play. It was a pretty good TP angle, but it just no one was there to really follow up on anything he was doing. So a little questionable, maybe a little miscommunication there from the bot lane and set there. But in the end, not too big of a deal. They did get the Kog'Maw flash off of that one. Crit is jumping in again.
Coretta, what the plays? Look at that explosive charge. You just hate to have that on your head. I mean, talking about Veigar just getting bullied and still performing quite well in this game. I think it's not an easy feat to do, and I have to commend him for that. Justify showing up with a TP as well, has it in the arsenal right now. Both summoners available for him. You also have to pay attention to the bot lane. Poro has both summoners, is ready to fight, and here we go in the top lane. Dr. Squish. One in, but he doesn't want to take his chances against that Gwen. He just wants to alleviate that pressure coming from the Herald. And True Shot Barrage in the bot lane. Fahren. Now, I think the Kog'Maw could possibly be online. What do you think as far as character design go? Who do you think is the coolest on the Rift right now? And what do you think, Torito? Yeah, I think Lulu is your champion, Torito. Have you been playing? I think I saw you today in the what's it called? The client. I think you're in game. I was like, is this a miracle or what? Impossible. My eyes. What am I seeing? Oh boy.
Yeah.
But who do you think looks the coolest? Let's have your take on it. I mean, I think you like Karma, right? Because you just like playing that champion. You did play it competitively too.
Oh, I don't like Karma. Sometimes you have to play Karma just because of how strong she is. So in terms of I think Veigar is really cool just because he has some really funny lines and how he talks is hilarious. So I gotta give him the props on that one. But in terms of probably the coolest, man, Set's cool, man. He's got the
Set,
six-pack rocket.
that's what I was
Come
gonna
on,
say.
he's so cool, right?
Yeah,
mean,
dude, I think Set packs a punch, bro. I mean, I don't know about the fur and everything, the design of the coat. I don't get me wrong, I do like the aesthetic of that champion. But out of all of them, he just looks the most ready to go, like Rocky Balboa. He probably trains 6 days a week on a strict diet. You know, this guy's been hitting the gym 24/7.
I've seen him running up the stairs of Philadelphia City Hall before this man is Rocky incarnate. Let's just call it what he is. He's a cool dude. Anyway, we had a great play happen there. Dr. Squish using that priority from Doodle Bob and Poro, taking advantage and invading Conquest in the jungle and punishing this Karthus, who is not too great when he's by himself. He really needs his team to kind of support him there. They end up getting a double kill out of that one, as Vigar absolutely popped the Tristana with a full combo there.
Vagar, aka the little brat magician, who's annoyingly just gets scale AP ratios, which is super annoying as well. Like, you pointing that one out for Vagar, I think it's their win con at this point, right, Al? You were going with that. Sorry I interrupt you, but it's gonna be their win con one way or the other. Justify might have to carry his team.
Yeah, the thing with Vagar is a lot of his damage is I'd say a little bit unreliable. So his R is targeted, but really his Q and his, I want to say it's his E, is a little bit harder to hit if he's not getting those stun cages off. So he can very easily burst down any one of the champions, especially, you know, Karita if he tries to be too aggressive, or Conquest, because Conquest kind of has to mix it up a little bit if he wants to get the full value from Karthus. So he can do that, but it's going to rely a lot on Ezreal to get a lot of the consistent damage off. And I think he's in a pretty decent position to do so, as justified. Ooh, that's a lot of damage.
That's a lot of damage. You know, Flexiel won't be able to help you on that one as well. Speaking of Flexiel, you know, this game we've been seeing a lot of great plays on both sides and a lot of great skins. I have to add, you know, looking at that Lulu skin, just looks like a little fuzzy champion, but just got that wild growth on her and just got unstoppable in that one. Karthus picking up a kill. True Shot Barrage finally landing this time around, but only hits one target. Meanwhile, Poro just trying to run away with the extra movement speed that they have in the arsenal, but Karita is not going to let that one go. Glacial Prison rather lands on Gwen for that disengage, so that's going to be, I believe, was that a 2 for nothing, or is my client still bugged? That's a 2 for nothing.
No, you had that correct. Justified is, like I said, Vigar is not a very mobile mage in his weight, as we see Dr. Squish go for the solo kill.
Flash for flash straight in the mid lane. Farhan is going to be happy to trade that one and go away to safety, as we know how AD carries hate to get ganked time and time again.
You take those as a jungler, because your flash is worth significantly less than the flash on that Cosmo there. But yeah, really what happened is Vigar does not have a lot of range, and he's very, very reliant on his cage for anything, because he has no mobility either. And he was just caught in the river, and he tried to burst, and his burst did not kill the Lulu because of the Lulu ultimate, and he just dies because after his burst, he's kind of a sitting duck. So I imagine this is kind of what we're going to see, and this is why it's not really on Justify's shoulders to completely carry this, because a lot of his burst can be mitigated by the Lulu, and then he's just kind of going to be sitting there, and it's really going to be a lot on Doodle Bob to really get that consistent damage out there after Justified blows someone up. And
here's the thing, man. Doodle Bob, right? The name of the champion, or the name of the player, right? Doodle Bob. That name kind of is he's kind of handicapped to carry. I mean, that name doesn't kind of correspond with someone who's gonna have to put the name the team on his shoulder. Although very cool name, I like the Doodle Bob. It's just very funny sounding name. That's what I'm saying.
Listen, Proof.
No hate though. No hate.
They call him Doodle Bob because he's gonna be styling on the enemy.
He's gonna be making the enemy. Making doodles out of the enemy. That's what's gonna happen, I think. You know, we also got Fahren, who's also named, you know, I think AD carry toe-to-toe name-wise. I gotta give it to Fahren, man.
Oh, no way. Doodle Bob, hands down.
Doodle Bob. Okay, you know what?
Run the predictions in the chat. Let's see who's got the better AD carry name.
I mean, here, if Doodle Bob, let's say, gets picked up by the LCS, what do you think people are going to type in chat? Like, okay, there's Double Lift versus Doodle Bob. You know what I'm saying?
Double it, man. Get that boomer out of here. He's
Oh
retired.
yeah, he's
Doodle
retired. But
is the future.
by far though, I think Double Lift is kind of the coolest name. I think Doodle Bob was trying to. It's kind of the parody version of Double Lift, in my opinion. What do you think? I think.
I mean, you got to be like the Skip Bayless of the league. You got some trash takes over here.
I'm not the Skip Baylor league, man. I'm not though. I would say, if anything, I root for both of these teams. I think they're quite putting up a performance right now. Speaking of performance, great cheese, and Lulu is gonna get the short end of that stick in that trade, and Vega are gonna get paid. Here comes the Stride Breaker, who's super fast, super hunky with the showstopper, and the little brat steals it either way. The little brat magician, doesn't matter how much work Seth puts up. The kills are going to get stolen. Corrida, ooh, with the rocket jump, is he going to get away with all rising? Yep, nope, he's not. The true shot barrage goes wide as well, and here comes the E from Seth, trying to put some damage in his opponents. His team has to pick up the rest, as all of them are turning into ashes. It is 2 for 3 so far, though. So nothing too out of the ordinary. The game's still very close. And when Gwen is on the map, things could go south pretty quick. As Starduck, talking about the sitting duck on the map, Starduck gets the attention of Ezreal, but the rest of his team just do the groundwork, and they pick up that third dragon, which is going to put them at soul point.
Yeah, in the end, really another great play. They're really using these tanks initiations, both with Vikings and Dr. Squish, to their advantage, and taking advantage of the fact that there really is no frontline on FOD, and they're kind of making them punish for that, because if you hit any one of these champions, if you hit the Lulu, if you hit the Tristana, if you hit the Karthus, with any of your CC at the beginning of the fight, they're pretty much going to blow up. Especially Justifies with his cage. If he hits a cage on them, they're almost certainly going to die. I think he has enough damage to burst out anyone, unless you get a Lulu shield and the Lulu ultimate on top of it. So unfortunately, Lulu got blown up at the beginning of that fight before she could even cast an ability. So she's going to need to space a little bit better, because she's the only way that any of her carries are ever going to be able to survive that Justifies burst.
Yeah, speaking of Justify, though, he's not the only one doing the damage, right? We got Doodle Bob over here as well. Having that Divide Sunder completed, that's pretty good for himself, not gonna lie. Has a longsword as well available. Is gonna be putting up some damage with his scoreline. I wouldn't be surprised if he ends up doing a lot of damage in the next couple of minutes, as this game is going in the later stage of the game, the match rather. Whoever is making the rules on whatever is the late stage. Now we are in it. It's 23 minutes on the clock and 9-14 on the scoreboard. I wouldn't be surprised if Ezreal right now just gets beefy, as 105, completing another item. That's going to be, look at that. He decided to go with that extra mana for himself.
Yeah.
That's pretty standard too, right? I mean, it's not out of the ordinary.
It's an absolutely insane item on Ezreal. You pretty much have to go it on him all the time, and it absolutely just makes his damage ludicrously insane. So really, Ezreal is at his end game point right now. He could probably not build a damage item for the rest of the game and be fine.
Just be fine, yeah.
But we're still probably going to see him even ramp up his damage some more. You can see some tankier builds with a Frozen Heart coming in third.
Yeah.
Or the other option is you'll see the Sherelda's Grudge. Oh, Conquest.
Whoa, why didn't he come in? Oh, they're letting Justify pick it up. Wow, this is absolute. Doodle Bob coming up with those wingman plays. Justify getting fed. He gets paid. So that's just another story to write home about. And here comes Glacial Prison, though. Again, they're getting pigs. This is crazy, man. This is CH Turf you're on right now. And they're getting the catches. Like I said, I was actually leaning on the CH comp. And I don't know why everybody was so enthusiastic about this FOD kind of squishy comp, when I was like, yo, look at the CC coming up, look at the tankiness on the side of CH, and to be fair, I like this better than the Glass Cannon FOD team comp that they decided to go with.
Yeah, definitely. Like I said, I would say that Horizon's doing a very good job playing to their win condition through these tanks, and kind of playing off of the CC and setup that they have. I do kind of have to question FOD here, where like they have a lot of damage, but in order for them to really utilize their damage, they all need to be doing the damage. And they consistently are getting picked off one at a time or two at a time and not
Mhm.
really giving their team the real opportunity for all of them to do damage together, which is how they're going to be able to melt through targets. So I guess that's what I'm still saying is. So I still have some hope for FOD if they can get more into these 5v5 type fights where their team has more of an opportunity all to do damage and they won't get picked off. But if they're gonna keep getting picked like this and go, ones at a time and everything like that, they're gonna lose every single time with the CC that they have.
The CC is just too crazy. And now another point to fight on the map. It's kind of like at this point, CH, they're getting all the objectives, and FOD, they're just huddled like, like they are in a basketball locker room. They're like, guys, we gotta not
Real
let
quick,
them.
I gotta talk about this. This is really good play here that I like from Horizon. So the Drake is coming up in 30 seconds here as we see FOD really try and huddle around that Drake and
Exactly.
kind of contest the vision. But Horizon's playing this really well and instead pushing the waves. Oh, here we go.
Tick tock on the clock, and there you go. That's a great true shot barrage. Snipes Lulu right off the face of the map, and here comes the second kill. Justified goes gold. In the meantime, Kurita trying to pick up a kill. The Karthus ultimate doing some damage. There you go. Shutdown's coming through. Oh, FOD, they're turning this one around with those artilleries as well, doing a lot of damage to that front line. I think they're now gonna recall. With that said, though, Vikings has been split pushing. Like you said, they're playing they let the drag go. They're like, fine, FOD, you guys huddle around the drag. We're good pushing lanes, and here it comes Sed picking up the inhibitor turret and now flashing away from the Gwen. That's still giving him a lot of respect. Not trying to fight that one still. And
So I really, FOD, I mean,
they just get that free drag on top of that.
I'm so impressed with Horizon here. I don't know who's their shot caller or who does their macro or anything, but absolutely brilliant play. They realize that FOD is trying to contest the dragon. They say, hey, this is your first dragon, man. We can give you this all day. They set up for the mid push. They sense that top and get set to go with the top push. And then in the end, FOD ends up splitting to say, hey, we need to stop them from taking our base. And they get caught in transition because of the Sejuani engage. They're playing this out so well and really playing to the fact of, hey, we really don't want to take just a traditional 5v5 type fight where we're going to have to stand in the Karthus R and we're going to let these double 80 carries shred us. Oh, looks like for another pick here. Not in range that time. So I'm just really impressed with the macro play that I'm seeing out of them. And they end up so far on top because of it. They get the top lane inhibitor turret, and they end up getting the Drake anyways because of the picks that they were able to get as FOD was transitioning back to try and stop the inhibitor push.
And it's paying off for them at the end now. 3 minutes almost, sub 3 minutes on the clock, and we're nearing almost to the end. And like I said, Doodle Bob on that great build is doing a lot of damage and is something to be feared. Compared to the Kog'Maw, I would say Ezreal is more, MVP type player right now on the map for the time being, at least. Kog'Maw has been time and time again being the target for many abilities, and like the glacial prison has been landing on him time and time again. Seems to be the story of this game. With that said, though, finally, you got CH picking up a turret for themselves, and here comes the shenanigans again. They're dancing around the inhibitor turret, pushing the waves. In 1 minute, we're going to see another Baron take, possibly on spawn. Who knows? They could just be happy about forcing a fight because they have 6k gold lead.
Yeah, they're playing this really well, and it comes down to kind of what we were talking about with like, they're not letting FOD ever fight just a regular 5v5. They're getting picks with this Sejuani using her ultimate very liberally, looking anytime they see one person even remotely out of position, they're saying, I'm using this ultimate, I'm going to destroy you. And it's working every single time. I cannot say this enough. I do think FOD has a really great like 5v5 type comp with a lot of damage, but I think that Horizon is definitely out macroing them, and I think they're using these two tanks very well to make a lot of plays happen, Whereas FOD just doesn't have the same champions that can really make a lot of plays, unless Tristana is just YOLO jumping into the enemy team, which means she's probably dead.
Yeah, the Tristana rocket jumps, kind of like a double-edged sword, really. If you go in, you better hope that you get the kill because, if the enemy team has enough sustain, like you're seeing, Sejuani does have the Thornmill completed, does have the steel caps as well. In addition to that, set as well that the tankiest members are going to peel for Doodle Bob. They're going to peel for Justify. And on top of that, Poro has that great poke damage to kind of like utility champion as well. So in that mix, just making that team fight look very strong. And I think CH drafted this with a purpose. I'm sure they have a great coach behind this team draft and the reasoning as to why they picked or whatever their champions they're playing. And on top of that, they're controlling everything on the map. They're the ones to call where we fight, where we go. Just be like, have you ever been in a street fight, Al?
Oh yeah, all the time. I've been
All
part
the
of
time.
a street fighting league. We just go out and mess each other up on a regular basis.
No. But I mean, okay. How about this? Like, have you ever been to like a fight in high school or anything like that?
I've been in a few fights.
A
I'd
few
say.
fights.
Oh,
Okay. Oh boy,
bye
here it
bye,
comes.
bye bye conquest.
That's Doodle Bob again with the sniping. And he didn't even play that one risky because he just flashed right out of the get-go. Oh, that's another great find by Veigar. He's been finding the targets. Here comes True Shot Barrage. Wild Growth being able to give Gwen so much room to breathe, but it's not going to be enough as the team is falling apart. And FOD, they're on the back line and double kill for Doodle Bob. And that's going to put Collective Horizon now with the first ace for the match and the game. And look at that. They're going to just go straight to the Baron.
Yeah, they're gonna take this for free too, and this game is pretty much looking like over. So, really, like I said, I'm really impressed with Horizon here. I really like a lot of what they did. Even in that fight, right at the beginning there, they immediately engage with Dr. Squish, and right after they kill Karthus, they use the Karma and Powered E and run away because they know they don't want to fight in that Karthus. I am so impressed with just the micro and really macro things that I'm seeing out of Horizon here. It's not something that I've seen in a lot of teams when I'm casting a lot of these scrimmages or even in some of the leagues that I cast. But it's just very crisp. It looks very practiced, and I would love to actually hear some more information about this from their comms or from some of the players.
Yeah, they're just playing this one flawlessly. I don't know if they have the coach with them on the call, although I have to double check with that as well because they seem to be having a great macro play. And oh boy, that one goes wide. Another ultimate, I guess, is down. So the time being, they don't have that extra engage. So CH have to watch out as they're getting engaged on at this point. It's not looking too good for them. Set already half HP down. Oh, True Shot Barrage. Crazy plays. The damage doers are doing their part. And Veigar with a kill in addition to having Ezreal now another snipe with that Q. Giving him the double kill. 808. This 80 carry is unstoppable.
Bob absolutely smurfed that fight. So I really, really, really like once again how Horizon played that fight out. They were getting caught out a little bit from their tanks at the beginning of that fight, but they immediately kite back. They start moving backwards, and then what FOD did is they followed them through a funnel. And as soon as they went to that funnel, they got hit with the Ezreal ult. They got hit with the V-Guard damage hitting over the top. And they just couldn't do anything about it. You cannot chase through funnels, really at all. And that's exactly what happened, and they got blown up in an instant because they have no thick boys like they do on the other side.
Exactly, and now the predictions are going to be over. We're going to go to the second game. Hopefully we get that on time because as we only have almost 30 minutes left, so however much we could cover from that game, we're going to try our best. And with that said, let's go back to our, I guess, caster's analyst desk or whatever. Wait a minute, let me change it. We got another invite. There you go. That was pretty fast.
Quick with it.
And in the meantime, I am gonna send you guys over to the B-roll clip. Me and Al are gonna take some water breaks, and if we need to hit the loo, we're gonna hit the loo. Anything else, Al, you want to add on top of that game that we just witnessed?
No, I don't think so. I was very impressed, like I said, with Horizon. So I got to give a big kudos to them. And it looked like a little bit of a difference in game plan because I know last week when we had Corrida and Conquest in the interview room, they said that they like to play off of each other a lot, and it didn't really look like Conquest was really playing for him. Some of that is just because it's Karthus things. He doesn't really do a lot of ganks or anything, so but in the end, props to both teams. I could see the win conditions from both, and I got to give a really good shout out to Horizon on playing their comp and how they wanted to play team fights very, very, very well. I'm very impressed with them.
Yeah, I think they showed us that that team comp really works versus that glass cannon team comp we saw on the side of FOD. They're going hoping that they would be able to do damage and front. They were faced with a lot of armor. That was for sure. Steel caps, thornmail, you name it, and it just became problematic. And when you add the damage coming from Vagar, damage from Doodlebob on those attacks, great sniping by the way, landing a lot of those skill shots. Nicely done for him. With that said, though, we're gonna see maybe a different take on the second game as we're approaching now to the draft phase. And now, Al, you just need to go to the spectate, and we'll be good to go. We should start the draft right now. Because we only have 30 minutes. Who do you think is going to win this one, Al?
Well, of course, I'll always have to wait and see the draft, but in general, just how Horizon executed their team comp last game, I was just so thoroughly impressed with. So without seeing any of the team composition, I think I'm gonna give it to them right now, just because I feel like they have a very strong understanding of the game and a very strong macro knowledge
Mm-hmm.
and how to really kind of play out a lot of those mid to late game situations. Not to say that we can't see FOD come up with something. Maybe they give Conquest something that can scrap a little bit more early. Karthus is not really
Mm-hmm.
one that wants to go a lot for those early skirmishes or anything. So maybe doing something like that and getting Corrida something that can scrap with him as well is probably the route that I'd like to see them go down because I saw them be very successful with that in previous weeks. But we'll have to see if they feel the same way that I do. Conquest was getting a lot of farm and getting himself very much set up in that regard. Uh, it didn't look quite as dominant of an early game as it did that we've seen from him and Corrida in previous weeks.
At 11 EST, right? So you're saying play towards the mid, like we saying last week, right? It was last week. Where we're seeing Corrida and the synergy of Corrida and who was the Conquest, I believe, with the jungler. They had great synergy going on. They were playing towards that win con for their mid lane. Rather through their mid lane, and Corrida on obviously this time around on the 80 carry Tristana. Maybe we could see some other champion for him. He really shines on those assassins as well. Could be Silas in the mid lane for heavy trades in the early game, or just that heavy assassin comp they were running with Hecarim. They were running Akali as well. What do you think is going to happen? Do you think they should go that route, or
I'd just like to see Conquest on something that can make plays a little bit earlier and take some more of those early skirmishes. So, I mean, outside of the small individual blunders and everything, I think that would greatly unlock them because it just really felt like a lot of what Conquest was doing was just looking for. I mean, he got big CS advantages, which is kind of what his champion is supposed to do in the matchup. But it's just his team kind of suffered for that, and they couldn't really play around him. A lot of the jungle skirmishes that ended up happening, they all kind of just ended up, losing because Conquest kind of couldn't provide anything for them. He kind of just got blown up on Karthus once it got into some of those more mid-game jungle-type skirmishes.
Yeah, I think that's the name of the game. You have to also have great mental reset after a loss like this.
We're in the draft too, Proof, if you
Yeah,
want.
we are in the draft. I'm trying to click on it. I don't know where. Oh, there you go. I got sent. Special. All right. It looks like they're gonna start. No lag, no delay whatsoever. Already picking Set and Tristana for Horizon. This time around, they got the Set again, then Sejuani, and on top of that, they stole that Tristana pick. They kind of like that one. They're like, let us try that for a second.
Yeah, I think that was Horizon being a little salty that FOD stole the Ezreal out from under them. So they said, fine, if you take our Ezreal, we're taking your Tristana. So kind of an equal trade there. I do tend to like Ezreal more in the meta right now. I think he provides a similar damage, at least in terms of how much damage you can do as Tristana, but has actually probably more safety, given that his Q has so much range and he always has his E. Ooh, and I want to talk about this one, Proof. We have Kayn coming in. So I absolutely love Kayn. Kayn hyperscales absolutely insanely well. Both forms, red and blue. I'd love to see a red form out of him because red form absolutely eats into the Sejuani and to the set. But we'll have to see what else Horizon rounds up the team with. And we can already see that FOD is going to have at least a little bit more frontline, depending on which version that Kayn ends up going with. So we'll have to see how they round up the rest of the draft here.
There shouldn't be a reason, right, for Kayn to go Shadow Assassin in this scenario. I mean, granted, it's only Tristana. If they're actually very desperate to get Tristana, then I want to see, that would be the sole reason why Kayn would go, like you said, Shadow Assassin. But here, the red form would be really beneficial for them. As now, topping that off with Swain.
Is that the Ox Swain?
No, Ox is not playing this one. Ox is, that was the last game they played.
The old one, okay, I'm sorry.
Yeah. This time around, I think the Swain is just going to go solid. Could go mid, could go support at this point. Really still flexible champion. And with that said, there's 10 seconds ticking. Let's see how Horizon are going to respond with that. As they haven't drafted. Oh, the bot lane there. You want to get that support before it's too late. And it's going to be Alistar Tristana. I mean, I'm not concerned about their ball lane. Just look at that lane. Just sheer dominance coming out from Horizon.
We'll have to see where the Swain ends up going, but at least right now, I don't like the Alistar pick. I'll get into it after we see the full drafts here and we see exactly where everyone's going. But the reason why essentially is this, is right now, FOD... Oh, God, I don't like Vladimir here. Oh, okay, they locked into Vladimir.
I would have loved the Yasuo here, not going to lie. Just having something Alistar to do with a knock-up, get that last breath in there, synergize. Now, Vladimir obviously is going to be going mid and Set's going to go top. Maybe you get that Vladimir top and Set mid. Who knows, really? But that Swain is going to have a matchup with that Vladimir. I'm pretty sure they don't want to get that Set against him.
Yeah, obviously, Swain could still potentially flex the support, but I imagine that it's probably going mid at this point. Oh, no, it is going to be Swain support, yep. And we're going to see the Corki. Okay. So, with all that coming in, this is a tough one for me. So, if this would have been a solo lane Swain, or even an AD carry Swain, or AP carry Swain, I think FOD would have been set up very well, I feel. So Kayn, Gwen, and Swain both thrive into the exact same kind of situation. They thrive into short range, into people who want to be close to you, where they can really take full advantage of the Swain ult, of the Kayn healing, assuming he's going red form. And Gwen can get a lot of those easy resets and a lot of snips off. But now that we see it's Swain support, I'd like it a little less from FOD's side. So we'll see how that ends up panning out. I think if they could have gone for the solo lane Swain here, I think that they could have had a lot of good things going into Horizon's comp. But with that being said, and it ends up being the Swain support, the Corki mid, like I said, I like it a little less, and they still do have a lot of squishy members on the side of FOD here. Not a lot of beef, so if it is Red Kayn, he's a little beefy because of his healing.
Yeah, but
Swain can be a little beefy because of his healing too.
Yeah.
But
besides that, they don't have that like sheer, I'm gonna go steal caps and thornmail type situation going on.
No, not at all. And it's definitely a very, very, very good heal cut game. At least on the side of Horizon, Swain is going to heal a lot. Kane more than likely will heal a lot. Once again, we are assuming he's going red form here. And then Gwen obviously heals an insane amount. Ezreal with the Divine Sunder will heal. And then Corki, his new build is also Divine Sunder, so he's also going to be healing.
So two mythic items that are getting abused right now. It's going to be on both of the kind of the carries at this point.
Absolutely. So insane heal cut game. I wouldn't be surprised to see some early Thorn Mails or at least some early Bramble Vest from like the Sejuani in the set. Is probably your most likely ones, and even probably the Alistar down bot lane too. But we'll have to see how that plans out. Seeing both of these drafts together, Horizons looks very similar to what they had played last time. They have the Sejuani in the set again, kind of those two characters that are looking for plays, and Alistar now as well. So they can very much play a similar way of how they did last time, whereas FOD is going to be looking for something a little bit more different. So the Kane can make some plays early. He really wants to farm. It's not the essence.